to another amazing episode of the Phone Booth here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin and soon to be KBCC 89.5 FM, Tracy, California. My name is Ed Heitman. Joining me in the studio, as always, are my good friends and co-hosts Brian Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Parker Spurlin.
Oh, hey, everybody. I did not see you there. Well, let's get down to brass tacks, or tacks of the brass.
He really wanted to do like one of those sitcom Full House intros where it's like,
and if it wasn't for this Muppet over here,
he made the mistake of telling me he was going to do that.
Which is why I usually don't tell you guys what I'm about to do.
Yeah, I don't know why you made that mistake this time.
I don't know.
It was a fool move on your part.
I was trying. I was trying to build trust.
We were expecting another boot to the stool.
And I decided to change things up because the day's a little bit more elegant than usual.
Is it?
I mean, it's
variety,
it's our first episode
of the 2020 decade.
2020 decade. Now,
yes.
If you're familiar with the decades, like I am, 100 years ago was the 1920s.
That is how that works. Yes.
And it was supposedly a more elegant time until 1929 when the stock market crashed. But hey, you know what? We don't talk about that. So let's keep it beneficial to us in this moment of time.
Yes.
And I will be elegant.
Today is a very special episode. It is, for one, you might have noticed we don't necessarily have a script available to us. We're having a bit of issues with the printer at the moment. We don't want to get into too many details.
We have one handwritten script on a length of paper I didn't know was actually sold.
Yeah.
I didn't know this
Our
on
good
paper
friend Brian here has taken it upon himself to write down a script so that way we have a way to go over all of the news and everything. So thank you, Brian, for putting out all that effort and everything. It's very much appreciated.
I control the flow of information and that's the world.
Of course.
We appreciate your tenacity and abrasions for the show.
That's deep.
Okay,
it's high praise.
That's high praise, Brian.
It's high praise.
First up, CEO of Respawn, the studio behind the recent Jedi Fallen Order and the Titanfall series, Vince Zampella, is going to take over DICE LA, a subdivision of the main DICE studio that mainly works on helping with creating content for things like Battlefield and whatnot, in order to work on an unannounced original IP. Which is very interesting. It seems like Vince Zampella, after really I don't think anyone could have predicted how big Jedi Fallen Order was going to be. But after its success, it seems like he's gotten a bit more sway within EA, which is good.
For the common lane man like me, what does IP mean?
IP is intellectual property. And it is essentially a series, like Star Wars is an IP. Marvel is an IP with smaller IPs within
a book you write is
Winnie
your
the Pooh?
IP.
Winnie the Pooh is an IP, which we will actually talk about in a minute.
Oh, yeah?
Honestly, I think this is a good thing. Vince Zampella is shown to be very creative. He's been able to push forward a lot of series that, for better or for worse, have been successful.
Definitely. Now, Terry chimed in. She mentioned that she shared the video that she was on previously, episode No Comment. You know what? I kind of just want to mention, okay?
What do you want to mention?
That episode that she was on where we talked about the Witcher series and whatnot, that happens to be our most popular video right now.
By a huge margin.
Yes.
Huge margin. So many people came in to watch that episode, and I just think that's amazing.
Yes.
Before that episode, our most viewed was around 120 views. This one has over 600 now.
Over 600.
And we would like to thank Terry Wells Brown for that.
Yes.
You're always welcome to come back onto the show again. We definitely are looking for another series to review, and when we want to do that review, you're more than welcome to come onto the show with us and review it, because we had so much fun. It's one of the longest episodes we ever had, too. It was an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
We had to wrap it up just because some of us had to get going.
I mean, if I look at the calculations on do you see the calculations on my watch here?
He's got like a calculator watch.
A bunch of numbers.
Yeah. I didn't. Those don't mean anything. I just put in random numbers.
Why are you like this? Okay.
Oh, Terry said that she wants to review Mindhunter with us.
Mindhunter.
I've been looking for an excuse to watch it.
So, yeah, me too.
We will do our very best.
Stop it.
Sorry. We will do our very best to review it as in depth and as entertaining as possible.
Indeed, I still need to get through the first season and the latest season that came out. I believe there's 2 that came out
2
so far.
seasons,
So we're gonna try and go through that over the week, and of course, you're more than welcome to review it with us. All right, so let's get back to the show.
Okay, so next up is Disney has confirmed that the WandaVision Disney Plus show has actually been moved up. It was originally supposed to release in 2021, but now it will be releasing in 2020. Now, when in 2020 is anyone's guess.
With Phase 4, it seems to be really difficult to pinpoint a date.
June 9th is when I say it's going to come out. I feel like it's a June kind of
And
movie.
honestly, the public would believe you with that date. Just because every time we get a date, we start to believe it, and all of a sudden, oh, actually, you know what? We decided to shift it forward or backward.
Yeah. Yeah, so honestly, at this point, it feels like the entire Phase 4 announcement calendar was just pointless. I mean, it was pointless when they announced it because they were already teasing things for Phase 5 with the Blade movie. And now then they lost Spider-Man, then they got Spider-Man back and added that to the schedule. We don't know when Guardians is coming out. We know it's not in Phase 4, and that's probably one of the most anticipated movies right now.
Yeah.
And now we've got just more changes to the calendar. Just stop doing the phase calendars, Marvel. We don't care anymore. It's just make movies. Make good movies.
It's insulting to the viewer.
Yeah, we all kind of figured it out. Once the whole Infinity Saga wrapped up and Thanos was killed off, and that's a spoiler, but it's been long enough for me to mention it.
We don't care that you broke your elbow.
We've wrapped up this years-long saga of stories leading up to just whatever could happen next happens next. And we all kind of just expected that, the next few movies is just superheroes going on their own random adventures and just doing their own things. But for some reason, Marvel Studios, instead of wanting to let the heroes go and do their own thing, they want to try and make another Infinity Saga. When the audience, we don't want another Infinity Saga. As awesome as it would be, do we really need another Infinity Saga?
I'm going to go ahead and say no on that one.
Honestly, the Infinity Saga was exhausting in retrospect.
It really
was.
There was
a lot of movies and a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
For the big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I look like Gordy from
Geordi.
Geordi, that's right. Geordi from Star Trek Next Generation.
Yes.
You both got his name wrong and took way too long to remember the name of the show.
I'm sorry. I have watched the series at least once, and that was enough for me.
Tisk.
I was more of a fan of the original. Yeah.
Anyway,
I never really watched Star Trek.
Star Trek. It's a good show. The next one, Generation's better. I agree, but the original one is one I grew up on. Mm-hmm. All right, so
the original one had a really nice intro song. That's a fact.
Okay.
Next up.
What's next?
Stop. I have the script. Step off.
My lord.
I will bite you.
My lord.
Anyway, next up is more Marvel news, but one of a more controversial nature. So recently, Kevin Feige did an interview in which he was asked if the MCU would feature more LGBTQ plus heroes, and was specifically asked about transgender heroes. To which Kevin Feige said, yes, very soon. That is a direct quote. However, Variety has reported that according to insiders, Feige actually misunderstood the question, not really understanding the specifying of the trans heroes, and was more generally answering if there would be an LGBTQ hero.
So wait, did someone ask him specifically if there was going to be trans people in it?
Yes, he was asked if there would be more LGBTQ heroes, and then it was specified if there would be a trans hero. Okay. And it's apparently that Feige was answering the first part of the question and not really the more specified part.
Wait, the broad. So he was answering to yes on the LGBTQ plus,
yes,
but not on the specific transgender.
Yes, apparently what he was hinting at was that there's going to be a gay hero in Eternals, which is currently filming. But it's essentially he misunderstood the question, which happens, but it does seem to have stepped Marvel into a bit of hot water because he did accidentally confirm a trans hero coming soon when there isn't.
Yeah, that is kind of unfortunate, because it is about time that we do have.
I always wondered, how can I'm going to guess that that he's cis male, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, as far as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know,
he's a white male. I don't actually know his sexuality.
Yeah, I mean, but how would you write that from the perspective of someone that you haven't been You haven't been there.
Well, to be fair, I don't think he would be the one writing it. I think he'd say, it's time we had, a gay, a transgender hero, and then they would find writers that could actually write that.
Okay.
Because Kevin Feige, while he does have a lot of control, he does not write the movies, as far as I know.
Yeah,
he gives notes, but he does not, write the scripts or the characters.
Mm-hmm. I see.
But yeah, this is, I feel like there's going to be backlash when it turns out there isn't a trans hero. And it is... I mean, he did misunderstand the question. He wasn't trying to purposely mislead people.
Yeah.
But it is kind of his fault, It's
It's just miscommunicate.
Mm-hmm. And I do think it's, time we can have a trans hero now. I mean, CW has one on Supergirl.
Right.
I don't remember her name, but that's going to bug me. I'm going to have to look that up.
At least it's not as bad as The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, let's not talk about that because I'll start yelling.
Stay tuned. No comment.
So last year, WWE 2K20, the newest release in the WWE 2K saga.
Can I play as the Hulk? The Hulkamania.
I can't speak to that, but I do know it released in a completely broken state, full of bugs and weird glitches, and just it didn't work, and it was bad and terrible. So
It's almost like... Now follow me on my logic here. I know I don't usually make sense here, but follow me on my logic. Okay. Fallout 76, hot buggy mess, rushed out.
Yeah.
Anthem, hot buggy mess, rushed out.
It had 7 years. I don't know if it was rushed so much as they just never had an idea.
True point. Well, it's not buggy
that's true.
either. But anyways, WWE, hot buggy mess, probably rushed out.
Probably.
It's funny.
But there's a trend here, people.
I tend to forget about 2K20 because we're so busy talking about Anthem and 76 and all these other ones that we always forget that 2K20 they're still bugging
It's
out.
mainly Anthem and 76 that we talk about. Let's just be real.
Because let's face it, fewer people really care about sports games when there's controversy with them.
Right.
Unless it's like loot boxes, but even then,
Or
people
if it's,
seem to accept it.
Football Mania Madden that you gotta, tackle the person and get the hole in one.
But anyway, 2K20 launched with a litany of bugs, so people thought maybe going into the year it's named after, things would start getting better. 2020. Except it didn't, because it turns out there is a Y2K style bug in the game where when the clock ticked over to 2020, it just broke even worse. Some people can't even access the game. People that do can't get into matches. There are visual glitches. There are bugs. It's like a time bomb went off in this game's code, and it is nuts.
Gosh.
We're sorry.
And 2K has said that they have pushed a fix for it, but people are still saying, no, everything's still broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like my mind, it's so far gone.
Yep. So yeah, WWE 2K20 exploded when it went into the year it's named after.
That's funny. It reminds me a lot to anybody who's an avid, who's watched our previous shows. Reminds you a lot of the nuke glitch that we had to talk about once before.
Yes. Oh, God. New Year's.
Let's enlighten them on the nuke crisis of '76. One of the many things we had to discuss.
So New Year's of last year, let's go back a little further. One of the main mechanics in Fallout 76 is you can find codes that when you string them together, it gives you access to a nuclear silo, so you can launch a nuke somewhere at the map and, destroy other players and summon, the end game boss creatures to get epic loot. Because, nuking things always makes stuff better, famously. Anyway, so it turned out that this game, released in November of 2018, intended to go on for years, could not properly identify the year switching over, so when it did, all the nuclear codes broke.
They couldn't put in an algorithm to let the computer know when the next year happens.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say something so controversial, yet so brave?
I don't know what I said that you're referring to.
I believe he was referring to the nuke thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Because 76 is nothing but controversial talk.
True. But Fallout 76, why beat a dead horse?
Because sometimes it makes funny noises.
I'm afraid to know how you know that, but that's okay.
We've been beating this dead horse for over oh my god, it's been over a year since
It's
that
been
game came
over
out.
It has,
a year.
yeah.
Congratulations, Ubisoft. Ubisoft. Congratulations, Bethesda.
Oh yeah, Ubisoft's working on their own buggy
don't
mess
talk
that
about
is
that.
Ghost Recon
We
Breakpoint
we
that
don't.
caused them to delay all their other upcoming games in order to fix it.
Ubisoft, if you're listening to this, don't listen to him. You keep doing what you're doing. So
No, stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Do something different.
release another Assassin's Creed every year, please. I would like
No.
that for the
No.
next 20 years.
Please.
No, we're too overloaded.
I
very
have,
clear.
I have a stack this high of Assassin's Creed games.
They've done
Only
so
that
much.
high, you scrub. That has to be like only half the series.
No,
They've
it's
done
all the
so
series.
much with
I have
Assassin's
Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 4, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed, let's see, Assassin's
Unity
Creed,
was
Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Need I go on?
Yeah. Do you have Liberation?
I don't have Liberation.
You absolute turnip.
I did not play that one. Okay, I haven't played that one.
So you don't have the entire series. Do you have the mobile game?
I did have the mobile games.
Did you have the PlayStation Vita exclusives?
I didn't have the
That was
the
Liberation, and then they put it
There
on.
was two. There was three of them.
There were?
Yeah. You
Were
can
there?
get. You can get. There was like a three. There was a 3-in-1 that you can get that had three different Assassin's Creed games that took place on the Vita.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's the one where like one takes place in India, one place takes.
Oh, yes,
Japan,
those.
yeah.
Chronicles,
The Chronicles. yes.
Chronicles, yes.
Did you get the standalone DLC about Adewale for Assassin's Creed 4?
I did. I just got the main games. Okay, can I just live in? Can I just live?
Then
with the
don't tell me about your stack of games.
Cease your investigations.
Master, I have tried to play them, my lord, but I can't.
Failure.
Please, I am
Let's
your
get on to
noble
the next
knight.
little topic
I
here.
am your noble knight. Let me play.
Okay, next topic is the Uncharted movie.
Uncharted. It's a movie, an action adventure game that was inspired by movies. Is now going to be an action. movie.
Unfortunately, Nathan Fillion is not Nathan Drake in this one, and I'm still upset about that.
He was in the fan film. We
Action.
always have that.
Action movie.
So, for reference,
Stay tuned.
this movie has been in development in some form since 2011. At the beginning of it, Mark Wahlberg was viewed as playing the protagonist Nathan Drake, and now he's apparently being looked at to play Nathan Drake's mentor.
Do you think Mark Wahlberg on the set will have good vibrations?
It'd be a sweet sensation.
Sweet sensation. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
I need to check the script again because I may have blacked out due to rage.
I have
But
that
hey, I
effect
didn't
on
assault the
people.
Vietnamese guy. What? No, I didn't say anything.
Oh yeah, he did do that. We don't. I mean, he was a bad person, but that's just
Yeah.
Anyway, this movie has gone through so many actors and so many directors, which is why Bumblebee director Travis Knight, who was attached to direct it, has now left the project. He
That's
is
too
the
bad.
6th director to leave this movie.
You should probably not
The
make it.
sixth.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say you probably should make it.
Yeah, what do? And this has begun the discussion again. Do we even really want an Uncharted movie?
Not if
Now-
it's gonna be a hot mess. No.
Now, which movie do you think will get made first? The Uncharted movie or the Flash movie?
Halo movie. It's already better.
Came
than
right
Uncharted.
out of left field on that one.
Well,
Oh, boy.
I think they've just given up. They're making that into the TV show now.
What?
They cast Master Chief and Cortana.
Great.
Don't know why. Anyway, yeah. So they lost their 6th director. Apparently, it's because of Marvel. Actually, because Tom Holland has been cast as a young Nathan Drake, but apparently the movie, the Uncharted movie, was supposed to start filming next summer. But because of the spider shenanigans from earlier last summer, the production got moved from the next Spider-Man movie to summer of 2020, and Tom Holland, I guess he has a better contract with Marvel than with Sony.
He's got that sweet Marvel money.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, indeed.
But Travis Knight, who's been attached to this for a while now with no traction, I looked at it and said, you know what, I can't delay this anymore. I want to go work on something
Look,
else now.
If I'm not gonna blame Tom Holland. You know why?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let's look at the options, okay? Stick with Marvel, get paid regularly, appear in like 20 movies, call it good.
Mm-hmm.
Make a appearance in this one. May or may not have a sequel based off video game. Historically hasn't done video game based movies
Yeah.
haven't done good
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Never.
So
Rampage?
and that also
I thought
has 6.
Uncharted 4 was pretty good. I don't know.
Well, but that was the video game,
Video
not
game.
a movie based
Based
on the video game.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So it's like, and has gone through 6 directors already.
Yeah, that's always a good sign for the production.
oh yeah, definitely.
Don't know which one. I'm gonna choose Marvel.
Yeah, I don't really blame anyone involved in this. It's just, it's more of a, this is a movie that no one really seems to want that much, that no one really seems to want to make, but there's just this sort of insistence in Hollywood that it stays in production, despite the fact no one really wants it.
Let
You
it
know,
go.
we
We
might have-
don't even want it.
Because honestly, when I think of the Uncharted movie, I kind of think of the Tomb Raider movie that recently got made. That was basically like the movie version of the video games that came out, and that one didn't really do too well. And I think because of that, everyone's kind of expectations have been subverted and whatnot. Like we've seen what happened with Tomb Raider, and where people might be thinking, when we go to see this Uncharted movie, it might just be exactly what happened with the Tomb Raider movie.
Also, the Uncharted game series is over. The last release was back in 2017.
The Thief's End, yes.
Yeah, if this movie starts production immediately, it'll come out in probably 2021, which will put it 5 years after the release of the last main title, which was Thief End. The 2017 one was the Lost Gold, Lost Treasure. It was the one with the the two other characters. Naomi, I want to say.
Lost Gold, Lost Treasure, or something like that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. It's I've never played an Uncharted.
It was like a bonus.
game,
It was like a.
I've tried, but I fall asleep.
It was like a side story that tagged along with Uncharted 4 involving 2 characters. Like I don't know if it was before, after, or during the Drake brothers doing their own thing. But
yeah, I might actually get PlayStation Plus this month because one of the free games is the entire collection of Uncharted.
It's hard to get through.
Yeah, well,
you have to enjoy puzzles. That's the thing.
I enjoy puzzles. Honestly, I may get it, and even if I don't like it, I mean, PS Plus is like, what, $10 a month?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pay $10 for 4 games, even if I don't like them, at least to try them.
I honestly really enjoyed the Uncharted series. It's actually one of my favorite PlayStation originals.
Mm-hmm. But Naughty Dog ended the series probably because they just felt they'd told all the stories that could be told with these characters. At a certain point, you have to look at it and go, this is the end. And if the original creators are saying, yeah, there's really no more stories to tell, it's kind of hard to look at a movie trying to tell an additional story in the young Indiana Jones style that just, honestly, just let the movie die.
If I wanted to watch something like this, I'd go watch Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
that's what Uncharted was trying to be. It was trying to be a video game.
And that's what I was like. It's saying I was like, here we go. We're gonna make a movie about an action adventure game that was inspired by action adventure movies. Yeah. Okay, so we're reinventing the wheel again. All right.
It's because they want to make. It's because they can't really make another Indiana Jones. They're trying to make another Indiana Jones, but at the end of the day, you can't keep going with Indiana Jones. So we tried Lara Croft, and apparently Lara Croft doesn't seem to be fitting to the audience. But we still can't make an Indiana Jones. What are we gonna do? Make a new character? That's too much effort. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make another character that we haven't used in a movie yet, and people seem to like this fan film that's going on over here. And you know what? We're gonna try and hope on that, and if that works, then maybe we'll bring Indiana Jones back as some different actor or whatnot.
No, it's still Harrison Ford.
Because making a new character,
he's like 70.
Yeah,
he wants this to be his last Indy.
Yeah,
that should have been.
The Crystal Skull should have honestly been the last Indy.
The Glass Crusade should have been his last one.
It really should have, but they really wanted to push it, and Crystal Skull should have been the end of their as far as they could push.
Like how I want to remember Indiana Jones is. Not some decrepit old man trying to still go, Like, I don't want him to be like, oh, we gotta go find the next treasure. I gotta take a nap. I don't want it, like, I want to remember Indiana Jones as someone that was,
And honestly, the Crystal Skull was starting to play off look, Indy's starting to get old. Look how old Indy is. Look, he needs to stop for a second because he's out of breath. Look how old he is.
I mean, how many Fords does Harrison Ford crash?
How many
Fords does he? That I want to know. How many Fords does Harrison Ford has owned?
How many planes?
Yes, how many planes has Harrison Ford crashed at this point?
1 or 2.
I think it's at least 2. Two. Not with the 2 facing this way.
Like in a movie?
A rude gesture. In real life.
In real life, he crashed 2 planes.
Wait, this is a rude gesture?
Yeah.
That is?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a British thing.
Okay.
Just like the German 3 in a way.
Well, no, that's not really.
No, like how in different countries, different gestures mean different things.
Yeah, it's.
Like this apparently, so this is like in Texas. This is a Longhorn state, but Texas Longhorns.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently in Sweden, this means like the devil.
Ooh, devil horns.
Yeah. So
Yes. Let's not get too deep into some of these hand gestures because a lot of them are not radio or anything appropriate.
I'll pick the one that was radio friendly.
I also love that we're worried about the radio friendliness of a visual gesture.
How funny is that? Well, stay tuned until we get on the FM. So
my brain is breaking. Next topic. Get off my script.
It's a pocket script. Brian folded it up to fit in his pocket.
The final, of course, I get Final Fantasy.
You know what? You wanted it.
I know. Final Fantasy 7 remakes demo. Final Fantasy 7 remake demo remake.
The remake.
We're doing it live.
Okay, let's go with this. The demo for the Final Fantasy VII remake coming out in a few months leaked online earlier this week.
Okay. Allowing players to see gameplay and story changes, as well as the unreleased images of updated characters like
Red 13.
Red 13. It is unknown where or if the demo will be released.
I meant to write when then, but it's, you know what? It's a handwritten script you're going to deal with. So
when or if.
So yeah, the full story of it is the demo appeared on the PlayStation Store, and apparently someone managed to essentially rip a copy of it off and distribute it online. Now, there have been story changes that I'm not going to say here because A, I don't want to spoil them, and B, I've never played Final Fantasy VII, so I don't actually fully understand the context for them.
I've never played any of the
Plus, the fact that this is a demo that got leaked, they might do damage control and try to... they might try and change something just to subvert the expectations of those who have discovered the leak.
The game's coming out in 3 months. I think they're just going to have to roll with it.
Hey, if we could fix a CGI'd Sonic within a month, I'm sure we could change a bit of story.
Within a month? That took like 6 months. That trailer, the first trailer came out in May, and the second one came out in late October, early November. That was like 6 months.
Really, it didn't feel like that was that long.
Oh, it was like
Which
6
one?
months, the Sonic.
The Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. It felt like it was much shorter. Okay, I had to stand corrected then. I rescind that statement.
Yeah, so we got images of, like I said, Red 13 and what appears to be a game over screen in which it's all black and then it's just sort of Red 13's head hanging down from the top, which was actually kind of terrifying when it just loaded in suddenly on my computer.
That's interesting. They decided to not go with just having the Buster Sword laying there with the game over screen or anything.
Again, we don't know for sure. Like I said, it looked like a game over screen, kind of like the Arkham game over screens where you're just a character in a black background.
I really want to get into like Final Fantasy and any of the Square Enix properties, but the problem is the stories.
The stories are overly complicated. Very few of them actually connect to each other, or when they do, it's like Final Fantasy 13, where it's 3 games.
Like I liked the gameplay in Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you about Final Fantasy 15 and Fabula Nova Crystallis, which is its own sub-universe of the Final Fantasy 7 games that aren't united by an actual story, but more by themes.
Yeah, because when it comes to Final Fantasy 7, it's just the only time anything connects to anything is when
the titling is also confusing.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just because, the numbering thing is because it started off in Japan, and, only some of them came out in the U.S. for a certain time. So, 1 and 2 in the U.S. was, different titles over in Japan.
And then there's, Final Fantasy Tactics, and there's Final Fantasy World, I think, on mobile.
Worlds.
And then there's the,
Record Keeper, Brave Exvius, Mobius.
Oh, Mobius.
Square Enix basically came to the realization that they're not going to have any of the Final Fantasy games connect to each other unless the game that they do cross over in is purposely a crossover game.
There's the Platinum demo for 15, which is itself not actually a demo, but a prequel to it. There is the arcade brawler they made as a prequel to 15. There's the Pocket version.
I'm gonna have to stop
15.
you right there.
No.
Every word you just said, I didn't understand.
I
went in here, went out that way.
What you need to know is that if you decide to jump into the Final Fantasy series, you would literally jump into any of those games, and you're not going to be in the dark because none of them are really tied into each other unless Square Enix wants them to collide in some crossover special.
Final Fantasy 15 had a movie where plot points made no sense unless you played the game.
Oh yeah,
in the game there are plot points that made no sense unless you've seen the movie.
You got an anime movie as a DLC.
I'm sorry, this is like Hideo Kojima on a whole...
Sean Bean voiced the king in the movie, but they couldn't get him back for the 4 lines in the game. Aaron Paul was in the movie.
Yes.
Aaron Paul.
Yes.
Jesse Pinkman.
Okay.
He died.
So
you could get his daggers in the end game.
Well, we found out that my weakness is Final Fantasy talk because I just And that
You need to
I thought
not
it was
try to
Muppets.
understand it. Just accept that Final Fantasy 15 is a game about beautiful, handsome boys going on a road trip.
Usually with very anime-esque hair.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's the most anime hair ever.
You can poke someone's
next
eye
to
out.
Kingdom Hearts.
No.
Kingdom Hearts was kind of inspired
Kingdom
by...
Hearts has the cartoony anime hair. This hair is
like it will impale someone's eye.
It's every follicle is
Everything is
generated and blows in
pointed.
the wind and shines.
Very
and
polygonish.
They're beautiful boys.
I would rather have my wisdom teeth pulled out without anesthesia.
I need to show you some stuff from Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy follows a lot of anime tropes.
No. So,
Okay, well that is... I will smack you.
my lord,
My lord!
I would like to endeavor into making another one.
No, okay, so
I
that's
thought
it.
Southern. That doesn't make any
from,
sense.
What?
I went Southern. I was like, my lord.
We're
I would
getting
like
we're
to
getting
entail.
to trailer talk.
Yes.
Yo.
Keep going, Ed. Push through his
Yo,
nonsense.
in case you are a first-time viewer of the Phone Booth, Trailer Talk is when we talk
where's
about
my hand?
some of the latest
Oh,
movie
where's
trailers
shit?
to have dropped within the week, and share our opinions with you, the audience, on what our thoughts are about it. Now, unfortunately, this week we only had one trailer really that dropped, one trailer really that caught our attention, and that'd be the trailer for A Quiet Place Part 2.
Quiet
Place.
Quiet Place Part 2. So,
Yes.
took 2 seconds.
Brian, would you mind giving the details on like who's starring in it? The
As I
director and
fold it up.
whatnot?
Unbelievable with you.
Your pocket script.
Your pickpocketing script.
Listen, okay, Quiet Place Part 2. The U.S. release date is March 20th. And we don't have to put a 2020
Three.
after that anymore because it's current year.
Yes.
Year argument.
3/20/20.
Starring Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, Noah Jupe, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and of course many others. I
Wait.
believe Cillian Murphy and Jamon Hansu are in it
Yeah,
as well.
Cillian Murphy. Yeah.
Yes, synopsis is the Abbott family must face the terrors of the outside world as they fight for survival in silence, and it's directed by John Krasinski. Now we don't know if Krasinski is actually going to be in this since his character died in the last film, but he is directing it.
Maybe it's a Darth Maul where he's kept together by anger.
Well, this does seem to. Well, Part 2 does seem to be taking place at day 1, or at least it's close to day 1. While the first Quiet Place seemed to have taken place many days after the invasion of these monster
No,
things. But we get one thing that I did notice is that with the Quiet Place Part 2, we're definitely getting a lot more dialogue than we did with the last one.
Yeah, we're getting a lot more talking and a lot more of seeing the monsters, which
was the whole gimmick of the first one, which is now gone. So
well.
But I mean, like they always say, when you can't give people the suspense of the monster anymore, all you can really do is try your best to explain the monster.
to be what?
To be fun.
To be fair, they
To be
did.
fair.
They did sort of reveal that sound was also the monster's weakness, and then fully showed one in the last movie. So I guess it's kind of once you've shown the monster, it kind of
loses its
well. I suppose aliens. Well,
Well, Alien and then Aliens, and Aliens was good.
But
So
once you show a monster, really the best bet afterwards is to start delving into the backstory behind these creatures. And a day 1 story is always a good option to go with that, in my opinion.
yeah, and it is actually kind of interesting because, in the first movie, it's all after the disaster happened, and it looks like the main story of this movie is after the disaster happened. But it is interesting to see, people, who don't know about whatever these things are yet. We still don't actually know if they're aliens or monsters or demons.
and there looks like there's gonna be some flashbacks to day 1. So when these things appear.
Yeah, we see a monster attacking someone in a car and overtaking a bus, which is actually kind of cool.
That's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
dope.
they're driving in reverse
Yeah,
while
it
the bus
is.
is driving after them, and you just see the creature start to climb out while the bus is driving at them. And just,
I didn't even notice that until I saw most of it in
Whoa.
frame. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's insane. It definitely looks good.
Thank you. I'm gonna salute John Krasinski on this.
You know
because-
what? I gotta give John Krasinski mad props. This guy is doing a really good job in the directing field.
We salute
yeah.
you.
He's actually having a really great career after The Office.
Real great career.
Let more comedy people do horror movies. Is the lesson I'm getting from
We got
all
A
this.
Quiet Place.
It's the lesson. If you can do comedy, you can do serious acting. If
We
you
got
can
a-
do serious,
yeah.
you can do horror.
We got A Quiet Place. We got him starring in Jack Ryan. He was the director of one of my favorite Adult Swim originals, Dream Corp LLC. This guy is just on a hot streak, man. And I'm so glad that he's doing all this instead of just being known as Jim from The Office.
Jim
Yeah.
Halpert. Yeah.
I love that he went from being Jim in the Office to being Jack Ryan.
Yeah, huge upgrade, right? They
Yeah.
probably saw
from
they
this
saw Michael Scott's movie and hired him off the spot.
from this. So
Sky's the limit.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I love it. He's a secret agent. Well, he's an analyst and a secret agent. It's
So
cool.
we're definitely excited about this movie, and we are definitely looking forward to getting more trailers when they finally drop.
Spy Hard. No.
And with this movie, if we do get another trailer that drops that gives a bit more exposition, we'll relay it to you guys, because usually we don't talk about a trailer unless it gives extra exposition to the story.
Honestly, I think we've sort of given up on our no second trailers rule. We talk about what interests us.
Yeah.
This is not a show.
As far as our second
Where we
trailer
have
rule
rules.
goes, we won't talk about a second trailer if it doesn't really add anything to what we've already talked about.
Now, the
Now, however, while we talked about what is going to eventually come out, let's talk about some of the films that actually did release this week.
So we only have one film, but I actually have made an update to the format of this. Waha!
Woo!
what?
I made an update to the format of releasing this week. Anyway, so the film we're talking about is The Grudge. It is both a remake of the original Japanese horror film that people really liked, and it's a remake of the American remake of that horror film that,
Frustration.
yes, that
Frustration.
got all the sequels. And it is about a detective who must survive a haunted house while investigating a murder. Is what I really got from all the synopses.
Now you got all these fancy terms like grudge.
Originally referred to as Ju-on in its original Japanese version.
Yeah, that fancy term grudge.
That
Now,
fancy term grudge.
Grudge.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say that I've only had a chance to see the trailers so far, okay? But the trailers were just enough to give me a level of frustration, because let me tell you something. The Grudge 2 gave me nightmares for a long time. Made me afraid of the dark. My mom was actually able to terrify me once pretending to be the Grudge, and I threw myself into a corner screaming and whatnot.
Oh my God.
Because I watched the English version and I watched the Japanese version.
I
Horrible
remember
stuff.
watching on Adult Swim, they had trailers for The Grudge too
Yeah.
when I was a kid. And why would they do that? That's not something you should do.
It's Adult Swim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's kids
It's
who
a-
fall asleep at Cartoon Network.
Well,
And then they wake up to like,
at a certain point, it's on the parents.
That is, it is
it's
true.
They put it in the name,
It is
adult. They are not exactly hiding the fact of what they're aiming at.
It is true. However, I gotta see. Okay, one of the things that everybody
Fair
is
point.
most terrified about when they do watch The Grudge is because of the woman that you see in all of the posters and cover art and everything for the
This is
movie.
different than The Ring,
You know.
right?
Ring and
That was
Grudge. different
also
things.
I
There
think
was
that-
a crossover actually between the two fighting each other.
Yes, I think The Ring was originally Korean horror.
I believe they were both. I thought they were both Japan.
I swear
could be
one of
wrong.
them was Korean. Maybe I'm wrong. I
Ju-on
thought-
and Ringu, and then they became Grudge and The Ring.
Mm-hmm.
But, one of the things that everybody's always terrified about when they talk about The Grudge is the woman from The Grudge itself. And you kind of have, when you see her, you have her memorized in your head, Thin Japanese woman, pale white skin, big black circles on her eyes and everything, long droopy black hair, and just that door creaking moan that just really goes down your spine and everything is just, it's creepy. But then when I saw the monster that we got to see in the trailers for The Grudge and everything, and now I hope this isn't like the main ghost. I hope they actually do have the original Grudge lady in there. But when I saw this ghost, this did not look like the lady from The Grudge I was so terrified about. When I saw this ghost, I thought, it looks like the director said, you know what, it's original concept for a character that everyone's terrified about. Let's ditch that out the window. We're hip. We can be fresh and new. Let's take what the girl from The Exorcist looked like and make that the new Grudge ghost. We're so fresh and original.
Well, and this is the problem that I have. Okay, I'm falling. We're good. I just fell off. I thought I had more seat. I did not. So, the thing about these kinds of movies is that they don't have any actual suspense or horror in them. It's just
Jump scares.
Jump scare. Ooh, peekaboo.
Mm-hmm.
Peekaboo.
Yeah, if you're
Like, Guillermo del Toro. I watched Guillermo del Toro's.
Pan's Labyrinth?
No. The one that came. Stories to.
Scary stories to tell in the dark.
Yeah, scary stories to tell in the dark, and that was just. It was taking something that actually was petrifyingly scared as a kid, like that would scare you as a kid, and just making it. Whoa. With a boogie brain.
Yeah, and we actually had a conversation about that on Guillermo del Toro and his aesthetic that we don't really have time to get into now. But
I'm just saying, like, this is
like
a
if you-
scare. You know, like
Yeah, if you were to talk to any film critic right now who reviews movies for a living, one thing that you'll always hear them all say is that right now in the horror industry we have a very severe problem with relying too heavily on jump scares in order to get a shock value out of the audience.
And that's what's refreshing about Jordan Peele.
Yes.
It's like, that's very refreshing, is that he doesn't try and scare you, he tries to disturb you.
Yeah, he's not relying on the boo, I gotcha. He's relying on like just the tone of the room, the dialogue they're giving, just the overall situation itself. He wants you to be scared just from the environment. What other directors, they want you to be scared because some creepy thing just jumped down and went boogity boogity boo.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the problem. So like
I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but one of the examples is the latest Annabelle movie that came out.
Yeah.
You know, we were seeing the trailer for that, and there was a scene that was in the trailer and everything, and she was, the usual scary movie is like violin noise and it gets quiet and whatnot, and the camera pans over and she's looking around and it just shows this guy who's possessed. And he's not doing anything scary. He's literally going boogity boogity blah 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 blah, and you see her screaming and everything. Yeah, and it hangs there for too long, so it's like, and so it feels like we're hitting a point where we can't even seem to do jump scares correctly anymore.
And not to be one of those intellectuals.
Oh, we're all intellectuals in this station.
Intellectuals. The thing is that there's layers to Jordan Peele's work.
Mm-hmm. Right,
There's actual social commentary.
he's like an onion.
Yeah.
There's layers.
Layers. Donkey. I have layers. So he's like an ogre. He's got layers.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is there's always there's a surface, right? There's that surface, ooh, that's scary,
Right.
But then you peel back, and you see like, oh, this is a little bit deeper than that. There's like social injustice. There's a lot of, there's commentary on the state of, minorities in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a little bit more than that. So I enjoy that. That's fun to me.
Oh yeah.
Versus ooh, scary thing.
Yes, because Jordan Peele seems to be one of the few horror directors to remember that horror is supposed to reflect the times.
Right.
It's not just be about, ooh, scary ghost lady. It's, the best horror comes from something.
And to talk about that as well, why was The Fly in 1986 so scary?
Mm-hmm.
The AIDS crisis.
Yeah.
Hideous mutation, a deformation of the body, which, it slowly takes place.
Yeah.
Sounds like something that was going on in the mid-'80s.
The Thing, the original one, played off Cold War fears of anyone could be the enemy.
Right.
Yeah, horror movies in the past had more of a purpose than most of the movies nowadays have. Most of the movies nowadays, there's no real reason for there to be this creepy movie, and when there's no real reason for the monster to be this ghost or this psycho killer, we just decided it's there.
Not to get political, but Jordan Peele reflected the post-Trump era.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's just that what he sees as the post-Trump era.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Great director. I'm so glad that he's like the host of the new Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Now moving back towards The Grudge, the RT score, Rotten Tomatoes score.
That hodgepodge of a mess.
Yes. The Rotten Tomatoes score from critics is 17%, and from audiences is 18%. Both low, both very close. And this is where I want to introduce the change to the format, in that previously I've just given you the numbers, and we've discussed it and left out that. However, the numbers never really tell the full story. We've had things where critics rate it, really high, and audiences rate it really low, vice versa. But we never really talk about the issue. So I'm going to, from now on, go into some of the reviews and try to pick out some of the main either complaints or criticisms or things people loved about it, and I'm going to give those to you.
We're going to call it we're going to call it Hotbox.
No.
Well, I mean, penalty box. There it is.
The penalty box.
Yeah,
that works. Yeah,
penalty
box. Let's enter the penalty box.
Because they have to give you a reason for why they put you in the penalty box.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find some reason why these have their main gripes. How about that? The penalty box.
Now, as you can tell
for some reason, before I go on that, I for some reason thought Hotbox was the penalty box. I don't know. I have a problem with the words. So it's fine.
I'm too familiar with the term hot box, but I'll leave it at that.
So penalty box. Go for it.
Okay, so as you can probably tell from how low these scores are, there aren't a lot of compliments to this movie.
18 and 17%, if I'm correctly.
As you can tell from the fact that it's a reboot of an American movie that was a reboot of a Japanese film.
Yes, consensus seems to be, despite having a good director and a good cast, the movie has basically a dull and nonsensical plot. Apparently there are a lot of time jumps in it, which always great for a horror movie. Mm-hmm. And the plot, and it's filled with just apparently super predictable jump scares, which you guys were just talking about. Yeah. So it's most of its horror is based off jump scares. The plot makes no sense, and general consensus seems to be that the director and the cast were really wasted on this movie. Which
what do you mean? Like they're actually wasted.
Well, possibly, but
they were acting like they were, or what?
More that they are great talent that deserve better than the movie that this is. They deserve better than to be tied to a movie this bad. Okay. Though, who knows? Maybe they were wasted.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Maybe whatever they needed to do to get through this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that the studio was just like, yeah, we need to redo this because we're gonna either lose the rights or we're gonna
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a rights thing.
And it's like we're gonna lose the rights, so we have to kind of reboot it and just kind of kick it out the door.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they didn't put too much effort into it just because of the mountain they would have to go over just because of the fact that they have to acknowledge to the public, yes, this is a second reboot. You know, so that there's already a mountain of expectations that's going to be dropped on your shoulders to where no matter what the end product is going to be, you have to make sure that it can outweigh the original material when compared.
Which makes me wonder, why do we feel the need to reboot?
It's because Hollywood can't seem to come up with anything original. You know, you and I were actually talking about originality before we even did the show and everything.
And I will say that at least I'm remembering a few years ago there was that pseudo remake sequel to Rings that actually at least tried to evolve the story of it in the what would this be like in it's not a videotape, it's an online video now because times evolved, and it at least, I mean, everyone hated it, but it at least tried to do something. With The Grudge, it doesn't really seem to be trying to update anything. It just seems to be there.
Yeah, and the worst part is some people have really good ideas, just don't know how to follow through. For example, it may be obscure to you guys, but Unfriended.
I remember Unfriended.
Didn't it get a sequel?
It did get a sequel, Dark Web.
It did get a sequel.
Dark Web.
And so I keep it was interesting, a concept. Okay, it was pretty interesting. You have just because of the way that it's done through Skype. It's a killer through Skype.
First movie to ever to be filmed completely through webcams.
And so, I mean, that was an interesting low-budget solution, and I thought that was, it's an interesting, unique idea. Unfortunately, the script, the dialogue, the plot was just terrible.
Yeah.
Forgettable.
Honestly,
not even that. Not even terrible. It'd actually have to have some nuance to it if it was terrible. This is just boring and forgettable.
And honestly, when I think about that, this isn't exactly a horror movie. This is an action movie, actually. Hardcore Henry, a film that came out in 2015 and whatnot. It's one of my favorite movies, but I'm willing to acknowledge its flaws. For one of the reasons why I love it so much is because it's an action movie, very reminiscent to films like Crank and whatnot, but it's filmed entirely in a first-person perspective. They used a GoPro head cage thing and had the actor run around to where it looked like it was through your eyes, like you're playing a video game on a movie screen. Great idea. Unfortunately, the writing ended up affecting the product. A lot of characters that were in the film didn't really have too much exposition. It was like you encountered random NPC boss. When in a film, you can't get away with just random NPC boss. You got to know more to it than that. And
it was a film more about the gimmick of its filming than the actual.
Yeah. And unfortunately, ever since then, we almost had a chance to get a sequel to Hardcore Henry, and they said they would have done it if the audience wanted another one, but there wasn't enough positive reception because it just, in the end of the day, as awesome as it was as an idea, as a film, it could have done a lot more, and unfortunately we haven't had another entirely first-person film since.
Also, there is the issue with that. That's the same issue with VR is some people just get motion sick watching that.
Yeah, it's true. Especially when you're doing a lot of action scenes.
I know, one of the, there's a scene in the movie Doom.
Oh, yeah, with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock.
Oh, right, not the new movie from Doom.
That movie was known for just the fact that the camera guy had to have just been running around everywhere with that camera instead of standing still.
And they had the first person scene, which is kind of like the Doom, and so that one, it was unique and it was cool to see, but it was very gimmicky.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. Sometimes your unique ideas become gimmicky.
Yeah, sometimes there is a reason that these ideas are unique, is because people look at them and go, yeah, this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, The Ring is this one is just unoriginal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unoriginal.
This new Grudge is...
Or
The Ring, Grudge,
both have had remake, reboot, sequel things.
And they have the same premise, yeah. So, what can I say? It's just not only is it unoriginal because you had to reboot it, but they didn't really put their own spin on it. So
yeah,
it's like, other than translating it from the foreign country that it was from to English, that's really it. Other than that, it didn't really do anything. So it's unimpressive and forgettable. We'll forget about it in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It'll be forgotten in 2 weeks. It'll be out of theaters in probably 2 months.
Yeah.
If not, I can't imagine it. I should look at some of the box offices for these.
I'm going to guess it's going to be pretty low.
Yeah.
They probably lost some money on that one.
Yeah, last weekend after I saw Cats, I looked at the box office for that, and wow, was it bad.
Yeah. I heard that they're losing money pretty bad on that. Like, they're hemorrhaging money on that.
It's looking to lose about $100 million on a $100 million budget. So it's essentially going to pay for its marketing, and that's it.
Good old movie industry.
The DVD sales are gonna be decent just because the fact it'll be considered a B-movie legend.
Ooh, Cats. And then you get your grandma. Oh, Cats! I haven't seen that since I was a grandma.
Oh goodness! To watch your 80-year-old grandma watch Cats and just
Oh, it's so good. Wait, what?
What am I looking at here?
Hands.
Well,
great,
some people watch it. The Jellicles will, because Jellicles can.
When you're
and
walking
Jellicles
along, and the
okay.
Jellicles.
What are you talking about? Am I losing it? What are you talking about?
It's a BoJack Horseman thing.
Oh,
no, it's a Cats thing that BoJack Horseman references.
I'm only willing to acknowledge it as a BoJack Horseman thing.
Wait, what? I'm confused on that one. So
we'll talk tomorrow about Cats, okay? I will walk you through the plot of Cats tomorrow on air.
I want to go through it.
Please don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. This is the common reaction that we get from anybody whenever we have to mention the feature film Cats. It's unfortunately that's just a thing we had to deal with.
I don't want to talk about Cats.
Now, with that being said, we have reached near the end of our episode.
No, don't.
You can't
protect it.
He can't toss a script this time. That is station property.
Or has it? So, hot takes on hot cakes. How about that? So we're gonna have hot takes on some hot cakes.
Hot cakes aren't necessarily my thing.
You don't like hot cakes? What do you like hot cakes, Brian?
I don't know that I've ever had a hot cake.
I prefer my pastries
yes.
cold.
Hot cakes, flapjacks.
Waffles.
Oh, then yes. Waffles.
You like no, not waffles. Pancakes.
Yes,
I heard you say pancakes, but I noted
waffles is a period of pancakes in every way.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa. Hey.
Waffles are the pancakes with 6-packs. Okay.
No.
Yes, indeed.
Pancakes.
No.
I think you're mistranslating it. It's called pancakes. Pancakes. Can you say it? Pancakes.
Yes, pancakes, which are inferior to waffles.
Yes.
No, I mean, why?
Terry Wills Brown is saying that this is fun, guys.
Where you can store syrup and butter, and it won't just run all over your plate and onto your hands and get you all sticky. Waffles are crunchy, but so soft.
And they have syrup pockets.
You make me wanting a waffle now.
Yeah, see? You started out talking about pancakes, and now you want a waffle, because waffles are superior.
But can waffles have the perfect absorption ratio where you can put your syrup in and it'll absorb it perfectly?
Have you ever heard?
It doesn't need to absorb it because it has the pockets.
Have you ever heard of a pancake cone? I haven't. I've only heard of a waffle cone.
Mm-hmm.
But
who eats chicken and pancakes? No one.
Have you ever heard of pancake fries? I haven't, but I've heard of waffle fries.
I'm pretty sure a pancake fry is a latke.
I would have that.
I would try it just because I've never tried that.
Like
Let it be known that Terry Wells Brown has said that this episode was fun, and we are glad that you have enjoyed yourself.
I'm glad you enjoyed it because we try and be fun.
Yeah, we're glad that all of you have enjoyed it, and we're glad that all of you have been tuning in. We've had a very active view count, let me just say.
Of course, it wouldn't be a phone booth episode if I didn't plug me and Brian getting married. Let's see. When do you want? I'm gonna ask you. When do you want to get married? And don't say never. That's not a shit. We can't say that.
Angelica can, Angelica do, Angelica.
I'll just set the
can,
date.
Angelica.
So it's gonna be.
He's giving the hint as to what the music's gonna be. You know, we're all gonna be dancing to the Jellicle song.
It's gonna be April 12th, 2077.
We'll be located at 69 Big Hammer Lane.
69 Big Hammer Lane. You'll be. You're all invited. I mean, you're all invited. We're
Let
all
it be
gonna
actually next week's episode. Episode 69.
Stay tuned. If for next episode, it's gonna be the big one.
The big one, the big kahuna.
The big kahuna.
Anyways,
episode 69.
be sure to
You're gonna
tune
love
in every Saturday from 1 to 2 here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin, and soon to be KBCC 89.5 FM, Tracy, California.
Shout out to Brian. Shout out to my mom, and shout out to Nelly. So there we go.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please have
here.
yourselves a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Wait.
Take care.
You don't shout out.